Hi, this is Christy on My Therapy Hat podcast, and I'm here with...
Micah, her son.
Hey, Micah, how you doing?
Pretty good.
All right. So I have a topic today, and I like sharing these little topics with you because I like picking your brain a little bit.
Pick it.
Whoa, aggressive. I have a hard time accepting compliments. Is a topic that I hear. It's something that I've heard in therapy sessions. Now, what I'm the whole point of this is I'm going to share topics that and comments that come up in therapy sessions. I won't share people because confidentiality, but I think these types of things really need to be discussed because these are things that other people have a hard time with. So,
I have a hard time with this one.
really?
I don't like compliments at all.
Why not?
I get weirded out about it.
I feel like through your life, we have just showered you with compliments and praise and, did we overdo it?
Maybe. I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with going back to me playing soccer. Is because like throughout high school or like even competitive soccer, I never liked to talk about how I played. Like I know Dad was always like, "You did good that game," or blah blah blah, and I'd be like, "Thank you," but over time I stopped hyping myself up, not in a bad way, but just being like, I don't want to be that person who just talks about himself. And I feel like that bleeds into compliments as well. Whenever someone tells me like, "That's a really good photo," I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Well, because you're a photographer, and I think that that's good for people to want to praise you on your accomplishments.
Yeah. I just think for me, it could always be better. Like even with the pictures that I like, and someone's like, "Yeah, that's a pretty good picture." I'm always in the back of my head like, I could do better. There's one picture out there that's just that's the one. Like there's even times where I just take small little pictures of certain things, and I'm like, that's not gonna be liked. And then I post it, and people are like, "I love this one," and I'm like, really? That's the one? So I don't know. It goes back and forth, but yeah, I'm not a big compliment person.
See, and I can honestly say that I have struggled in the past with accepting compliments. And if I stop and think about it, and I'm going to share a little bit, it goes back to me being younger and coming in with something super exciting to share. And it was about me, and it was about an accomplishment. It was about something that I did. And I would get shut down with, "Oh, well, it's all about Christy." Now talk about just whoa, shutting you down. I didn't after that, I was like, you know what? Maybe no one wants to hear. But that's me sharing an accomplishment. That's different than getting a compliment.
Yeah.
And so, but in my experience, the two went hand in hand. So I had to learn how to overcome that. And again, I'm going to go back to like when I'm in my internship and I'm learning how to be a therapist. One of my mentors, supervisors, told me, all you have to do is say thank you. And I was like, oh, God. And this person was right. Someone complimented me one time and I found myself overthinking it. I found myself like trying to explain why this person had complimented me on whatever it was. And I remembered this mentor's words and I said, thank you. And it just went wonderfully. Everybody was happy. Everybody was fine.
You're like, what the hell?
I was like, oh my God, they were right. But when I hear clients say this thing that I have a hard time accepting compliments, I have to go back to that and stop and think like how I worked myself through it. And then it always, most of the times, leads to them having an anxiety or overthinking or, well, then I have to go in and I have to explain why I wore that shirt and why it looked good with those pants. And why?
No, you don't.
No, you do not. You put it together and it looked good. Damn, just say thank you. And so I've had to work with people on just say thank you.
Yeah.
That's hard for people. It's hard for us to hear nice things about ourselves.
I say a lot of it has to do with like customers being like, "Oh, thank you for helping me," and I just go, "Of course." And I just leave it at that. For me, I have a hard time saying you're welcome to people
Why?
because I had an ex who said she hated that.
You're welcome?
You're welcome. I have no clue why. And I just got in the habit of changing from you're welcome to of course. So there are times where I'm like, oh, of course. Oh, of course.
So you let her insecurity or her issue affect you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like a therapy session there, Micah.
Yep. No, I don't know. I just, even now when I say, oh, you're welcome, I'm just like, that feels weird.
It feels weird to say it, or it feels weird to like hear yourself say it. It feels weird.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
Well, what's the reaction the other person gives you?
I don't know. They're like, oh, okay. And they just go back to doing their thing.
So you're overthinking it then.
Sometimes, yeah. But I don't even give it a thought anymore. I just say, of course. I just go about it.
Well, maybe that's your answer. And again, we have to own ourselves too. Like,
yeah.
For example,
it might be my answer now. I mean,
of course.
It's been my answer for a very long time now. So it might just be like, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
But that, again,
it's
like
Chick-fil-A
when
employees where they say, my pleasure.
Oh.
They say that.
See, that would sound weird to me. My pleasure.
Because they have to say that.
Oh.
They say, oh, well, thank you. And they're like, it's my pleasure. That's weird. That I'm like, okay. That's a cult thing to say.
That's very cultish. Happy holidays. Oh, Merry Christmas. You know,
like, huh?
Whoa. Messed up there.
Yeah.
But that, like, when I go back and I think about the times that people have said this to me, you know, and I compliment people. I've made it a habit of mine. Like, if I see, you know, I watch these videos every once in a while where someone like gives a compliment to someone and it completely changes their behavior, their demeanor, their affect, and I'm like, oh man, I want to be that.
I'm
So
like the opposite. People give me compliments. I'm like, get away from me. They're like, I like that tattoo, and I'm like, God, I don't. Like hiding the tattoo.
See, why? There's something wrong here, Micah.
I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with that is small talk, and I hate small talk. I absolutely hate it. Like, if it's not going to lead to a deep conversation or even a good conversation, I don't even want to entertain it.
But what about if it's someone, and this is what I've said to clients, what about if it's someone just complimenting, I like that tattoo?
I go, oh, thank you. That's it. I leave it at that.
But there's a thank you. There's a thank you in that. And some people have a really hard time with even saying thank you. Some people would go into, explaining what the meaning is and why they got it and where they got it.
I'll look at it, and there are times where I look at it and I'm like, really? You think this is a good one? But I don't know. I mean, most of the time I just say thank you. But it's when they want to keep talking about it where I'm like, can we shut the hell up about the tattoo? Can we just do what we're here to do?
Well, and again, that could be like them trying to make a connection with you, them trying to show their personality to you, and you just being like,
I'm just like, I don't care. Can you do what you're doing here and get out of my face?
Well, so let's take it even one step further. Let's say that now you're sitting in your therapy chair and someone compliments you as a therapist, because I've gotten that too, where someone like compliments me as a therapist, and this is just what I do. This is just my job. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to help you climb this staircase to get to the top. And I've gotten that where someone compliments me and wants to just shower me with compliments, and I've had to say, well, thank you. You know, this is what I do. This is my job, and this is more about you.
Yeah.
And so, what happens in that situation? Like, let's foreshadow.
I would probably just either ask the person, like, why are you showering me in compliments? I feel like there would be something behind it rather than just them doing it. Because if it's just a one-on-one, at work there's people all around. There's so much stuff going on to where I say, oh, thank you, and then I just go along with their day, and they turn around and they go talk to someone else. But like if it's a one-on-one where a client is complimenting me, I'd be like, now why are we complimenting me all of a sudden out of nowhere?
That could be the problem that people have with compliments.
Yeah.
Is they're just out of nowhere. And there could be an agenda to it.
Yeah.
There could be, think of, a really attractive person and they just get complimented out of nowhere. And it's like,
Like,
why'd this
ooh.
person compliment me? But, again, there could be an agenda and that could be a way of deflecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to be aware of that too, because I've sat across from, males, females. I've had some people compliment and into a flirty type situation. And I've had to go, this person's trying to distract me
Mm-hmm.
from what the real issue is here. So
They're
there's
leading
the
you down a
agenda.
hallway to the other side, but we're trying to go through this door on the other end.
Let's go back.
Yeah. Let's circle back around here.
So there is an agenda, but and then again, I've also had those people where there is no agenda. That's their way of communicating.
Yeah, that's just how they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I've had to help clients understand that some people, they don't have an agenda. They just want to compliment you.
Mm-hmm.
And the correct response can always be thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go a little bit into that because now I was just remembering one person that had some deep trauma,
Mm-hmm.
had a problem with compliments, and it was because there was an agenda lined up with that compliment. It would always lead them to this reoccurring trauma.
Yeah.
And so what I did with this person, because I'm the safe person to
Mm-hmm.
this person, I told this person that, so when I see you, I'm going to compliment you on something, and it has no agenda. So I could get this person used to accepting compliments that were healthy,
Yeah.
that were safe,
That didn't have a meaning behind
that
it.
didn't have an agenda, wasn't going to lead them down this, reoccurring trauma.
Yeah.
And so we did that for a number of months
Mm-hmm.
when I was working with this person. This person got so good, came into me and was like, "Hey, Christy, listen, I've gotten so good at accepting compliments." And I was like, "All right, let's take it
Like,
back
all
a little bit. All right,
let's
settle
knock
down.
you down a little bit.
Settle down." This person started giving people compliments because this person realized what it felt like to get the compliment of like, "Oh, you look nice today. That color looks good on you."
Yeah.
"Oh, what did you do with your hair? It looks really nice." Started
I put water in it.
I brushed it. Thanks. If you guys saw my hair today, you'd be like, "What did that woman do?" But they started realizing that there are compliments that aren't attached to an agenda, that can be healthy, that can be safe. And this person started giving compliments and started seeing how their compliment positively affected these other people.
Mm-hmm.
And this person was so proud of themselves. And I was proud because this is something we'd been working on.
Yeah.
Because and the way that it began was I would compliment this person and this person would look at me and cow down and thank you. But no, we're not going to explain why we wore this color today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And we'd go on.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day we'd try it again, and I'd pick something else, "Oh, your hair looks really good today. Thank you." No. Thank you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kept doing this. And eventually, like I said, it became very natural, very safe, very just a
normal
organic response for this person to just say thank you and move on.
Yeah.
That's where I like to work with people is when someone tells me I have trouble accepting compliments, it's because I think back to this person's been led down an agenda. There's been an agenda attached to that compliment, or this person's had a bad experience with a compliment, or this person lacks a little bit of self-esteem or confidence to accept that compliment and feel good about it.
I feel like for me, a lot of it has to do with me telling myself I'm humble. So when it comes to like someone telling me about a picture being nice, or if I played good at soccer, I always kind of I try not, because I feel like for a lot of people, they'll let that blow their heads up to big proportions, kind of like what you were saying, how she was walking through and was saying how you were like, whoa, this is a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I feel like I want to keep myself into that type of check to where it's just like I try not to let the compliments get to me too much. Not that I'm saying I'm getting compliments every day all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but when I do get them, I'm just like, cool, thanks. But I'm just like, it's not like it's not like I don't like them, because everyone likes compliments, but it's the fact that I don't want to further conversation with people about it, because I'm just like, I don't want to talk about how I played, because you may think I played well. I think there are a lot of other things I can do wrong. You may think that picture's cool and nice. I think it could be much better. Like, I am my biggest critic, and that's what that comes down to, is I try to keep myself a little bit more humbled than trying to inflate my head about certain things.
Well, and so I want to go into that a little bit, because I think a lot of people feel that way. That if I accept a compliment, then I'm not humble, or I think I'm better than, or I think that, my head's going to explode.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that being able to accept a compliment means that you're allowing that other person who gave the compliment, you're allowing them to acknowledge you.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we don't allow those other people to acknowledge us, there's a lack of empathy, humility in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go back to when, like what I shared earlier about when I was younger and would be, oh, it's all about Christy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I had to be helped through, and becoming a therapist, you're going to go through this too. You have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
You have to face your demons. You have to process these things that just seem ridiculous,
Yeah.
or I grew up with this, so why wouldn't this be right? And so one of the things that my therapist helped, and so for any of my clients, that would be their grand therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that she helped me with was understanding that when I bring something to the table, I'm bringing an accomplishment, something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
When someone compliments, they're bringing up something that they're noticing.
Yeah.
That you're either, you're wearing a color that looks nice on you, or you spoke well at this event. You took a good picture. They're recognizing something that they're acknowledging of your accomplishment. And I was like, there's two sides of that. Me giving me telling you about my accomplishment,
Mm-hmm.
me talking about it, and you complimenting me on something you've noticed.
Yeah.
And I feel like I started to think about, there's a lot of humility in someone complimenting you.
Mm-hmm.
There's humility in me coming to you and going, oh, Micah, listen, can you come to my graduation? I'm going to be hooded with my master's. Remember that moment, Micah? Remember when you got to sit in the audience and woo, we did it. There was a lot of accomplishment in that.
Yeah.
Now, there was a lot of humility when you guys came down and we were taking pictures and you guys were like, good job. that was really good. Let me see your diploma. There was a lot of humility.
Give me your diploma.
Give me your diploma right now. Heck no. It's right there. Get your own. There was a lot of humility in that for me, because it took a lot of hard work. You were recognizing.
Yeah.
So there's two sides to me sharing. There's two sides to this, me sharing my accomplishment and someone acknowledging and saying what they're noticing of an accomplishment or, a detail that is about me.
Yeah.
And so that's why when this person was able to go and compliment people, this person was picking out something that was specific to that person.
Yeah.
They weren't picking out something just, oh, nice day today. There's your small talk. I mean, what are we talking about? Yeah, okay, great.
That's where I'm like, really?
Cute.
This is what you want to talk about right now?
I'm uncomfortable.
I want to leave.
But when this person was coming up and saying, hey, you know what? That shirt looks really nice on you. That's a good color for you. That was about that person acknowledging something that person had actually done for themselves.
Yeah.
And this person that I worked with got to learn that in real time, and I got to see that, and I got to see the change. And that's where, when we think about, I have a hard time accepting compliments. In a way, that's not about you.
Yeah.
That's about the other person acknowledging you. So that's one way to look at that.
Yeah, I'm still gonna still gonna be like, thanks, cool, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
My favorite thing that people ask me are, where'd you get that tattoo? Because in the back of my head, I'm like, there's no way you're gonna know who did my tattoo.
You just throw a name out there. Oh yeah.
I'm like, yeah, so my guy Cameron did it, and they're like, who? And I'm like, this is exactly what I had thought.
This is my point.
They're like, where's he at? I'm like, you're not gonna know where he's at.
Over there.
And then I tell them, and they're like, oh yeah, I don't know that place. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, I fucking knew that answer.
See, because there's just the small talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm like, God damn, dude.
And I think, let's go to tattoos for a second, because you and I both have them. We both go to Cameron.
I think my favorite thing about it, though, is when someone points out something, like, why'd you, like, let me see if I can find something. Or, like, the fly. Or what, the bee.
the bee. We got bees,
We got
Micah.
bees. When someone points out something like that, and I don't really want to describe how I got it, because I don't need to tell them. I could be like, I think it looks cool. And they're like, that's it? I'm like, that's it.
I just like bees.
I just like
Got
bees.
stung once and
Well,
really left an impression.
Tom and Jerry one on my elbow. Someone asked me, like, so why'd you get Tom and Jerry? I'm like, I don't know. It's cool. They're like, that's it? You know that's on you forever, right? And I'm like, whoa, really?
I think people have a hard time with tattoos because they are forever.
Yeah,
They can be a personal thing. Like I have a tiger on my arm.
Why do you have a tiger?
I'll tell you. So I'm very proud of being a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of that, part of myself. I don't know. That's who I am. I connect with my cats. We had to kick one of them out because he was just,
Because he's annoying.
Yeah, he was annoying. But I chose a tiger, and me and Cameron went back and forth. He wanted me to get one that was attacking, and I've worked very hard on being this stoic, there is still that fun, playful, joking side of me. But when I'm working, there's that professional, I want to keep a managed, calm side of me, because sometimes I have to bring that calm. I have to model that.
Yeah.
And I can't always model this chaos because people come from chaos.
Yeah.
Who wants to go to a therapist that's chaotic? Not I.
They're all over the place.
They're everywhere. But so when
we never get to talking about you.
This therapy session isn't about you, it's about me, okay? Don't go to those therapists. But so when we were talking, we were planning this out. I wanted a tiger that was very stoic, that was very, very much who I've become. And I don't really feel I need to explain that to anybody. And I've had people walk up and go, "Oh, nice tiger." That's all I need to hear.
Yeah, that's all I need.
It's all I need to hear, because you know what? There was my thought process, his artistic ability that went into that.
It's like the dragon. The dragon gets the most compliments because people are like, some people are like, so why the dragon? I'm like, I think it's cool. It's cool. And they're like, oh, okay.
Alrighty then.
But in reality, it's just like, I was born in the year of the dragon. Dragons are dope. D&D is always a big part of me.
It's a staple of your life.
It's a staple of my life. I was like, I'm going to get a fucking dragon. And I think it's funny when people are like, wow, that's such a cool dragon. I'm like, thanks. And they're like, so who did it? I'm like, oh, God.
Here we are again.
Harry, shut up.
Some guy with a tattoo gun.
I did it. I did that one.
That would shock people.
Yeah.
I did it. Really? Yeah.
Really? Yep.
Turn around. I'll give you one too.
Yep. I thought I was going to get a lot of questions about the enemy tattoo because it's kind of visible when I'm wearing short sleeves, but not a lot of people say things, which I'm glad. That's a conversation I throw around in my head all the time. I'm like, ooh, there's so many things I could say to people about that.
I get a lot of compliments or a lot of comments on the semicolon. The semicolon, and then I have the comma. Well, where you see a comma, I see a semicolon, Micah. And that was really an important tattoo for me. It was one of my first because of mental health. And I do like to explain that. And I've had a lot of people come up who've worked with me as clients and staff who've come up and like shown me their semicolon. I'm like,
That's cool.
Right on. Because they learn the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
They learn that it's a pause in your story. It's not the end of your story. And that was really important to me. And my tattoos, I want them to have some type of meaning and symbolism. And, you know.
I have a few on my legs that they're
just there.
They're just there. I thought it was funny, and that's what I got.
You know what I want? Just as a funny one? Animal. The
Oh,
Muppet.
Oh, the Muppet.
He's just my favorite. He's
That'd be a good
wild
one.
and crazy. He's a drummer.
You should do it where he's playing the drums.
That'd be a big tattoo, like a whole back
Yeah,
piece.
get it on your ribs right here.
Micah.
That'd be cool. That'd be sick.
Your mom's so cool.
That's so cool.
That brings us to kind of the end of, our little segment here that like you're lucky that you have a mom that's a therapist.
Am I?
We're back at that again. I'm really trying to get you to say you are. I'm trying to get you there. Not gonna do it, eh?
Well, I'll think about if I'm lucky or not.
You think about that. You think about that for next time. And you know what? I'm gonna that was a compliment, by the way, and you blew it.
Let's try it over again.
You're really lucky that you have a mom that's a therapist.
Nope.
Dang, I was not expecting that. What do you do when you don't? When your compliment's rejected like that? Just total rejection.
Imagine.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to think about that one. Like, I'm having a depression right now. I've fallen
Your hair
into
looks
depression.
nice. Nope.
Mm-mm. Wrong. False.
Try again.
False.
Your shoes look nice. Nope.
Mm-mm.
Getting somewhere.
I hate these shoes.
Got these out of the dumpster,
What about
actually.
the anti-comment? That's where we're going next time.
Yeah, there
the
we go.
anti-comment. Well, that shirt looks really crappy on you.
That's what I like. That's what
That's where I could really dig my teeth in,
I like your tattoo. Nope.
It's my most unfavorite.
God, I actually hate it.
Jesus. How'd that get there? Oh, see, and there we are. There's the sarcasm. There's the sense of humor that you and I both share. You're welcome. You're welcome. And
You're
so
welcome.
there's my therapy hat. And thank you for sitting in on this with me and helping me through this and sharing the fact that you struggle with compliments, because that's going to be my goal for the next 50 years of your life.
And you're gonna get the same answer. Nope.
Wow. Thank you, Micah.
You're welcome.
Thank you for ruining my day today. So. Have a good one. And hold on, I got a plug here. You can listen on Spotify and YouTube and follow My Therapy Hat podcast on Instagram.
Boom.
Boom.
There you go.
See, and I think that deserves a compliment because I remembered that.
Good job.
Thank you. And there we go. All the way around.
All the way around.
Full circle.
Jesus.
It's the circle. Circle